Hey everybody, I'm Arglethump, and this is the schedule for my book review channel. So, this month I'm going to start with Babysitter's Club number 67, Dawn's Big Move, and then 68, Jessie and the Bad Babysitter, which is an okay book, but YouTube flagged it for inappropriate content. I don't know why. I don't know what's so inappropriate about the book, but they totally flagged it, and so I had to delete the video and upload a backup copy from 2 years ago. So I'm a little worried that the quality won't be very good. I'm sorry about that. I don't know why YouTube flagged that as inappropriate. I'll also read the next two Babysitter's Club books, which are mystery number 11, Claudia and the Mystery at the Museum, which is a pretty terrible mystery, and then book 69, Get Well Soon, Mallory, which is not a very good book, but it's about Mallory getting mono, and that's just sort of an interesting idea that Mallory's sick and she can't leave her bedroom for 4 to 6 months. That seems like an interesting idea, but the way it plays out, Mallory's just in her bedroom and she's sick and she can't do anything, and so it ended up being not very interesting, although it did have an interesting premise. Okay, so I'll be doing 4 Frozen books, Frozen graphic novels. So the last 2 Frozen graphic novels, which are Reunion Road and Breaking Boundaries, and then 2 of the comic book collections. So Frozen Adventures, they made 3 of these books. They're about 250 pages long, and they're just collections of various Frozen comics from, like, the Frozen magazine. And, let's see, there's a comic series, in Canada, I think. And then there were some comics that are based on the Anna and Elsa chapter book series. I don't know where those come from. Anyway, they just took all the Frozen comic books they had and just shoved them together in this collection called Frozen Adventures. And so there's just a ton of comics. So that makes them okay. They're okay. Little Sister books. Little Sister number 67. That's Karen's Turkey Day. And then number 70. You might remember a couple of months back, I held a contest to decide which Little Sister book I would read next. Well, the winner picked book 70. So, Karen's Granddad. And I also picked up 2 Little Sister books from the library bookstore, because they were like 50 cents each. So, I haven't even started reading these, but I might read them sometime soon. Hopefully, maybe, just so I can get them posted along with all the other Little Sister reviews I'm doing. Also, book number 87, Karen's Pony Camp, and 8 times 2 equals 6, Sweet 16, which is a short story. And, let's see, only a little bit of Nancy Drew Files this month. So Nancy Drew Files number 63, which is a college mystery. It's sort of like book 7 or 9, I forget which one. The one where Nancy goes to Ned's college and he has problems with the basketball team. So it's basically that story, except now it's with the football team. But it's still a good book. And then book number 64, The Wrong Track. I don't remember anything about it. No. It's a skiing book, I think. It's a skiing book. And all the time when I was writing it, I was thinking of the song The Right Stuff. So it's like, do 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 do, the wrong track. That just kept going through my mind when I was writing the entire book review. And then I have my commissions at the end of the month. So I'm going to be reading the 3rd Alex Rider book. I'm going to be reading Pinocchio. I'm going to be reading The One, which is the last book in the Selection trilogy. So that's only 3. I was also commissioned to read, like, Name of the Wind, which is an absolutely giant book. It's like 600, 700 pages. It's been interesting so far, but it's so giant. It's gonna take me like 4 months to read. I'm sorry. I read like 70 pages, and then the book had to go back to the library. So it's gonna take me a while to read that one. So as a result, I only have 3 commissions for this month. So the 4th book that I'm going to post with the commissions is going to be Disney's Twisted Tales number 8. So that's Straight On Till Morning. It's based on Peter Pan. I did not like it very much, but I just read it, so I figured why not post that review while the book is still relatively fresh and new. Let me talk about the stuff I wrote. I did a ton of writing this past month. So I did another draft of the Santa Claus game, Too Many Santas, and I did another draft of the Lost Oregon City Gold. I think that might be the final name of the game. I'm not sure. But it's basically a big scavenger hunt with the Oregon Trail Gold. And there was a lot of work. I had to take like thousands of pictures to these various historical sites all throughout Oregon City. So like the Ermitinger House, the Mountain View Cemetery, which has got like all these pioneer graves. So the oldest grave is, it's not John Barkley, a Forbes Barkley, I think. So he died at 1847. So I got pictures of his tombstone. His father was Dr. John Barkley. I'm totally forgetting the names. Anyway, his father's house is still in existence, and I took pictures of that as well. And then the rest of the stuff, I did basically some outlining for ideas. So I wanted to write a game which is in the vein of those Exit the Room games. So it's called The Murdered Egyptologist. That's just sort of a placeholder title. I think it's going to be okay. I'm worried it's too similar to the Clue video game, but I realize not a lot of people have played Clue Fatal Illusions, so maybe I'll get away with it. I don't know. Also, I had this really cool idea for a plot twist in the game. I thought it was really creative. And then I just remembered that the exact same thing happens in the video game version of Agatha Christie, Murder on the Orient Express. The plot twist wasn't in the recent movie, but it was in the video game. And I'm like, oh, darn. I thought I was being super creative. And it turns out that, yeah, it's already been done before. So I got the outline for that. I don't know what's going to happen with it. Also, the Mask of Red Death, so I did an outline for that as well. Trying to figure out how I could turn that story into a full game, like a game that's over 30,000 words. And I think the way to do that is by adding in a bunch of other Edgar Allan Poe stories. So have like one story per room of the palace. I think that's how you do it. So you like, room 1 would be the Black Cat, and, you know, Murders on the Rue Morgue, or the Purloined Letter. Basically, I got like a list of like these 20, 30 Edgar Allan Poe stories. It's basically the list of the stories I've read and the stories that people say that are very good. I don't know if I'll be able to use all of them though. There's like an Edgar Allan Poe story about the mummy, and I thought that would work because the game's called The Murdered Egyptologist, but no, that would not work at all for my purposes. And then I did an outline for a murder wedding video game. A murder wedding video game. Yeah. So did I mention I was writing like a noir game? I didn't know if it would be a game or a short story, but I outlined one called The Murder Man, and I don't think I have the book here. Anyway, there's a book called Murder Man. I did a review for it. Check it out. Watch my review for Murder Man. So it had a really cool cover, and so I just wrote like a murder mystery based on the cover. Like the scene in the cover is actually in the outline I wrote. And so I also found this really cool old cover of like this bride who's just attacking a cake with a knife like she's trying to kill it, because the decoration on the top of the cake is a man murdering the bride. And I just thought it was really cool. And so I wrote a little murder wedding mystery, which is based off that cover. That really seems like a fun activity I want to keep going. Is just find all these old, detective magazines, like Pulp Fiction detective magazine covers, because the covers have nothing to do with the actual stories inside the books. And it's like, just find those cool covers, make stories based on those covers. It'd be cool to do that with pretty much any genre. Science fiction would be another good one too. So I've only got two outlines for the project of like noir covers. So maybe I'll do 10 and stop there. Who knows? I don't know. It'd be really cool to do one for sci-fi, though. That's also an idea that I've got kicking around in the back of my mind. But I'll talk more about that if I ever get around to writing it. Okay, so this past month, I did reviews for several books. Goosebumps books number 5 through 8. So I did 4 of the Goosebumps books, and that's as far as I'm going to read for Goosebumps for now, because I've got a lot of other stuff to read. I actually bought a lot of the Babysitters Club books, and I haven't read any of them yet, so I want to do that first. I read Babysitters Club number 106, Claudia, Queen of 7th Grade. And so I've purchased books like 107 through 110. I want to read those next. Also the mysteries, too. Not Quite Human, books number 5 and 6, and then my series recap, so I did that. An ebook for the Paw Enforcement series, so it was kind of cool. Nancy Drew Files number 65 through 69, so I did my reviews for those. I've read books 70 and 71, but I have not done my reviews for those. I also read book number 73 5 years ago, and I took notes about it. So I've sort of started, I don't even remember the book, but I've sort of started my review for that. But I think with the Nancy Drew Files, I'll read until book number 74, and then just sort of stop there. And if I'll pick it up again, I'll read the next 10 books in the series, and I'll pick it up again, the next 10 books, and just do that like 5 more times, just only reading 10 books at once rather than going all the way through to the end of the series. And that will bring me to the end of the series. I'm like 50 books away, right? 100, yeah, 50 books away. And then a lot of, I read Frozen Ghost Hunt, which is a short book. It's like 20 pages. It's not that interesting, but the story behind it was kind of interesting, and it took me like 2 to 3 minutes to explain the story, because it's sort of a ghost book. Well, yeah, I know, it's called Ghost Hunt, but it's based on a book which was never published in the United States, which is based on a ebook, which was published in the United States, but it was actually published in England, believe it or not. So it's weird. It's like based off a book that we can't get, based off another book that we can't get. So, kind of an interesting story there. I don't know who made the decision, though. And then just a ton of Rainbow Magics with my daughter. So Rainbow Magic number 119. I forget which one that is. And then the first 3 books of the Fashion Fairy series, which is okay, I guess. And then Elizabeth the Royal Jubilee Fairy, which is interesting. Chrissie the Wish Fairy. So those 2 are both exclusive to the United Kingdom. So I got my hands on them. And then the Tooth Fairy book as well, which that was a good one. That was a good one. And something that was really boring is comparisons between the United States version and the original UK version. So I just read both books side by side and noted all the changes. So I did that for books 1, 16, 18, and 20. Which just takes a long time to do, because I have to read everything word by word. Okay, so that's it. So those are all the books I'm going to be posting this month. All the book reviews I did last month, and the various writings I did. I don't know what writing I'm going to do next, because I think maybe it's the Mom's Game. I think I might go back to that. I'm not sure. I'm still kind of trying to get over my backlog from the previous month, because like I said, I've got at least 2 of the Nancy Drew Files books which I've read and I need to write reviews for. Also Encyclopedia Brown, book of comic strips too. So I read that, the second book in the series. So I read that and I need to do a review for that as well. So hopefully I'll catch up to my backlog and then maybe do some more writing. I don't know. Anyway, thank you for watching.